Mythology. Hey, this is Thursday, December 12th, advanced class, talking about outsidery things.
No, we're talking about kitty cats.
The earth is flat!
Some of us are just talking about our points that we don't have anymore. I know, because if the earth was flat, it would have pushed off your point. Anyway, donations, turning stuff in, 9-week assessment coming up on Monday. Sorry, I'm trying to read it backwards on the screen. So it's literally right there. And then the winter dance coming up tomorrow evening, 7 to 9 p.m. There will be an announcement in there today giving you more information about it, so make sure you listen to the announcements. If your 5th grade teacher doesn't read them, then, I don't know, yell at them. It sounds like a them issue. And then, I don't think I have anyone left in here that has to do this, so we should be safe on that one. And
I already finished.
again, notebook comes due as far as Tuesday, same day that your homework comes due, because instead of me going through and stamping homework, I'm just going to grade it straight in your notebook to make things easier. You can find this same list on my website, so hopefully that helps you out. It'll be about 125 points. I'll send out reminds to you guys next week to try and help you. Okay. Then, here's where you're going to get a chance to do a thing. Allow me to preface this by saying, bottom part right here, I get to see everything you're doing. If you make poor choices, it comes back to haunt you, like throwing a Kleenex in paper recycling, because that's not where Kleenexes would go. It's still not.
It's not.
I didn't use it.
It's a Kleenex.
Using it or not, it's just not recyclable. So you're going to go to website, go to MrBroviac.com, find on there big white button that says click here for chat or something like that. And it's going to take you to a new thing that says backchannelchat.com. This is a site we are using for tomorrow. Essentially, this is a group chat function that allows you guys to do a talkie thing in the background. So you're going to get a chance to do talkie thing in the background from here. Yeah. So a lot of us teachers haven't, if you've not used it, I'm trying to introduce you to it. If you have used it, then yay. You're going to log in with that whole last name, first name thing. The thing we're doing tomorrow, which I'll explain here in a second, we are going to need to be using this. So I'm trying to make sure you are familiar with it. This is where iPad and keyboard come in handy, because you are going to be talking with each other tomorrow and doing a typey conversation-y thing. Again, I see everything you write, so make good choices when you do it. If you want to type a thing now and get it out of your system, that's fine with me. For the most part, I'm not judging you on this, as long as you can also listen to my words and not be mean or overly stupid with what you write, then you should be fine. I said overly stupid. You can have some level of stupid. You are 7th graders. It's okay. Quisler. Yes. You should practice joining now so that when we get to it tomorrow, you don't tell me, I don't know what I'm doing. Because I'll say, we don't have time for this, and now I have to beat you with a stick.
Wait, do we have to put that?
No, shoot them with my mask on.
Right.
I'm so scary.
Why
is it went too fast?
You know what I'm talking about.
A parentheses?
Under, like.
An underscore?
What's the code?
No, you just...
It says last name, then the thing.
A comma?
A comma, yes.
Yeah, no.
I won't let me run.
And then when you type, it'll show up to other people and stuff like that. What we are doing tomorrow is what's called a Socrative seminar, which is different than our Socrative quizzes. It's based on the idea of talking and questions, where our Socrative test, you do talking and questions. A Socrative seminar is talking. But it is not for a grade and it is not a test tomorrow. My goal with tomorrow is just us having a conversation. My room will be set up differently. It is going to be set up in 2 gigantic circles, where it's going to have a chair and a chair behind, chair and chair behind, chair and chair behind. We're going to have inner circle. We are going to have outer circle. For the most part, you get to choose where you want to sit, unless either A, you make poor choices with who you sit next to, and then I'll move you right away, or B, I might need to move some of you to equal out some of my groups, because I'll explain to you sort of how the grouping thing is going to work. When we get into the Socrative tomorrow, those of you in the inner circle, you will not have iPad. You are only getting to talk out loud. Those of you on the outer circle, you do not get to talk out loud at all. Your only talking is going to be through iPad. And we're going to go through a number of different conversations talking about bullying, making some references to the book, about how you want to change the school. It is going to be all stuff about your opinions and thoughts. Then you are going to flip-flop with person behind you. Whoop, whoop. And the person that was on iPad puts iPad away, comes into middle circle, and then you only get to talk out loud. And the person who was talking goes to back circle, and then you only get to type, and that is it. And you guys are going to get a chance to flippy-floppy. We're going to go through a couple different conversations. So I'm going to get a chance to introduce you to all of that. So when you come in tomorrow, my desk will be set up in those circles. I'll give you a quick introduction. My goal tomorrow is I will be talking very little, unlike most days where it is me talking. It is mostly going to be you guys talking and hopefully seeing what happens. If you are not an out loud talking kind of person and the idea of being in inner circle makes you unhappy, 1, you're out of luck. You're going to be in inner circle. 2, you don't have to talk. If you just sit there and stare at us, that's absolutely an option. If you are a person who does not want to do typing, again, you're out of luck. You're going to go to typey thing, but you might not be talking out loud or typing out loud, and that's fine. It's just you're going to end up going back and forth to both locations. I do feel it's only fair, again, to remind you, I do get to see everything you are typing, so make sure you are making good choices. Because as I'm talking and watching you, I'm watching your eyeballs and watching them go whoop, 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 and just going, again, I'm going to be coming back and checking. So just trying to guide you, get it out of your system today, because today I'll be mildly forgiving. Tomorrow, grumpier.
It's a pregnant. Can we do boys versus girls on that, or like boys and girls?
No.
Why not?
Because I'll mix you guys up back and forth.
Okay.
Plus, I mix up the groups throughout the whole time, where it's not going to say the same people, because you might have one group where kids talk the whole time and other groups are quiet, so I try to shift things around and stuff like that. Plus, I don't let one group kid dominate things. You can't have like one kid talk every time, but we'll get to that tomorrow.
But that's...
Yes.
Okay, so there are only 24 seats up there.
Correct. So I didn't have enough room on there.
Okay.
There's going to be 30 there.
Okay.
Okay. Because I didn't have enough room on the screen. Alright, so there's that. Covered into that. Now, if we have no other issues with this, close iPad, put iPad away.
No, it's fun!
Yeah, I'm well aware. Trust me.
Why?
Wait, what is that?
That is for the USSR. That is their flag symbol. It is the sickle and the hammer. So, again, tomorrow comes back to haunt you. Today, you're fine. Now it only haunts you if you still have iPad on desk, because I can literally see it in front of you. Worst hiding ever.
Yes, Ricky.
Oh, it's fun.
Aren't the songs?
I'm just gonna text it when I get home.
Tomorrow, our focus will be, if you post pictures, I delete it right away. And every time you post a thing and I delete it, I charge you points. Second time, 2 points. Third time, 3 points, so on and so forth. If you look carefully, this is my I could care less face. Tomorrow is focusing on the talking and not the old random stuff.
Purchase this picture.
Yeah, still. I mean, if it's worth a point to you, more power to you. Victor.
A couple minutes ago, when everyone was talking about flat Earth and donut Earth, you said that we would learn about donut Earth in Greek mythology. Is that true?
No.
That really?
Yeah.
I know.
Donut. Is it when the Earth's a donut?
In Greek mythology, it is.
Oh.
Back to here. Hey, let's talk about dying children.
Yay!
So we have fire, and we saved our children.
And love for their feet.
Once again, how do we save children?
Throw
It's not a sport unless you score. Well, you could score points.
Yeah, it's like kicking people away.
Because I would win.
Farthest thrower wins.
And so there, we did that one. Let's see, things to cover with you.
We should have saved the Burning Kids Olympics.
And a couple things to touch on. When Ponyboy and all of them get back and they have conversations, they're talking about throwing a big party, they mention Soda Pop's girlfriend. But the conversation they have about Sandy is very subdued and low-key. And I'm not sure you picked up on what they were talking about.
I did.
Z's?
Okay, so it was either them getting married or her moving to Florida. She chose Florida because she's only 17 and her parents would kill her.
Why do they have to do that?
Because I don't know.
That's the part.
Very smart.
So we'll get to that real quick. I know you know the answer. Good job. So on page 111, I just want to read that part to you so you understand what's happening. Because her parents do say you either have to marry him or you're going to have to move, and there's a reason why. So it goes to page 111, where it says, You gonna take Sandy to the party? I asked, just to be saying something. Suddenly, instant silence. I looked around. What? What's the deal? Soda Pop was staring at his feet, but his ears were reddening. No, she went to live with her grandmother in Florida. What? How come? Look, Steve said, surprisingly angry. Does he have to draw you a picture? It was either that or get married. And her parents almost hit the roof at the idea of her marrying a 16-year-old kid. 17, Soda said softly. I'll be 17 in a couple of weeks. Oh, I said, embarrassed. Soda was no innocent. I'd been in on bowl sessions, and his bragging was as loud as anyone's, but never about Sandy. Not ever about Sandy. So they're real subtle with what they're referring to there. But it's because when this book was written, that was a common reference to be made. Now, years later, it's not. But he and Sandy made a choice. And the choice they made means that something is going to change in 9 months from now. So because of that, they have to make a choice. Either they're going to get married or she has to move away until 9 months from now, things change. So hopefully that's helped you figure out. Yeah, so that's...
Is she going to move back?
So the idea is once 9 months from now happen, then that will be you either put baby up for adoption or something along those lines. But that's the poor choice that Soda Pop is.
There's a sequel!
Kind of. Yeah. Anyway, so I just wanted to make sure we touched on that so that we were familiar with what happened in the book. All right.
How are we supposed to get that from that?
Right. Well, that's what I'm talking. At the time, it was a very common thing that they talked about. You either got married or you had to go live with family. And so anytime that pops up,
Well, you're living with your family already. You're living with
away. They always talk about going to live with like family. And so usually it was like an aunt or an uncle or a grandmother or someone far away. So you did not bring shame to the family was the idea. So you didn't disappear, although everyone knew. But if you were gone, we could pretend it wasn't happening. And we're all big on pretending. So that's what it came down to. We did, though, Randy. So that was basically on the quiz. Why is Randy not going to be in the fight?
Because he hates fighting. It's not. He's a peaceful now.
Yeah, and that does pop up in the sequel. Randy shows up again, or he goes all peace-loving.
There's a sequel?
There is a sequel.
I'm not reading that.
I'm not making you read it.
Okay, good.
Wait, is it on the inside?
For half of you, I couldn't make you read this one. I'm going to make you read a sequel. Plus, the books after this are a lot longer than this one, so the sequel's way too short. But anyway, Randy decides that, hey, no point getting into a fight anymore because, one, if we win, we're just beating you down. And if you win, one of us is probably going to die. So what's the point? But the problem with Randy he has now, if he doesn't show up, what are people going to think about him? That he's a wussy and a chicken. So he's like, I either show up, but then I don't honor the memory of Bob because Bob wouldn't want me to be there anymore because Bob would understand this also. Or I do show up, and that becomes an embarrassment. So he's like, either way, bad things are going to happen. So he's like, I don't want to be there, but I don't want to disappoint my friend. He's like, I don't know what to do. And that's when he has like that whole big conversation with Ponyboy about what kind of person should we be.
What if he joins the greasers?
Well, I don't think the greasers just let you in. I think you sort of have to be a greaser.
It's a gang, so you have to beat them up.
Do you have to get jumped?
It's not the same kind of gang. They refer to it in here like the greasers being a gang, but it's not our term of gang. Here, their word of gang, I would say it's, yeah, your guys is more be like a squad. Is that?
Scooby-Doo.
You have to get
Who? But again, their term of gang is not like your term of gang.
They're like superheroes because they like flip off the steps.
Well, they're just athletic.
Yeah, but they look cool.
Gymnastics. Right, well that's more of a you issue.
It's not a cult.
They should make a musical. The Spaghetti Squad is a cult.
Don't shush them. They like to express their... Tomorrow, see, they'll have all kinds of times to express opinions, because tomorrow's all about talking, but not
I can do
yelling
that.
at each other. Or something.
I like cheese.
So, with, again, Pony, and they talk about them, the fact that from there, let's see, with that one, to go in and see Dally, that's when we get the whole knifey thing for him because he wants to feel better about who he is and stuff like that. The hospital after the fire.
Dally.
Dally
and Jolly.
Yes!
Why is Dally in the hospital?
Because
He's
sick. He broke his arm thing. His arm.
How?
I don't remember.
By saving Johnny.
I know, those people. Yeah, basically he broke his arm, and because the whole trying to pull Johnny out, probably punching Ponyboy a little bit too. But then that's when Dally, like, if you save children by throwing kids out windows, Dally was trying to save him, but Dally was already on the outside. He was like, how do I save you? So he had to reach in and then try to pull him out. And of course, he had the big burning thing on him and stuff like that.
Oh,
Rosie?
Terrible.
Is our quiz tomorrow on Socratic or paper?
Both. You have to do both tomorrow. Why does Johnny's hospital visit go?
No one's saying anything.
Why not? Because you guys are strong now, and I figure you can do that.
It's a hard day tomorrow.
Did you not hear anything?
Rosie,
Rosie,
you gotta
they're
start.
laughing at you because there's a calendar literally right there where it says there's no quiz tomorrow.
Oh my goodness, you're just...
It's
It's Socrates.
The thing I was talking about. How does Johnny's hospital visit go?
His request is to never see
I know what his request
He
is.
What is
hates
his
his
request?
mom.
To have Ponyboy read Gone with the Wind.
Oh,
Tim.
no, it's to never see his mom again.
Yeah, the Gone with the Wind is much later.
Oh, okay, I knew that.
His main request is never see his mom again. Why does he not want to see his mom?
Because
She's
she hates
his
mom.
baby butt.
She abuses him.
Yeah, and the yelling and the abuse.
No, the daddy.
He's like, now I get my own choice because I'm stuck in the hospital
You
paralyzed.
said that.
There
Yay!
we go. That brings us to Johnny's request.
Not very good.
Boo, we don't like to.
We did the whole requesting for Dally. And Cherry and Ponyboy when they're at the hospital. Victor?
It is because the I don't know.
Cherry never went to the hospital.
She does. She's in the
Yes, she
hospital
does.
parking lot.
And
That's where they run into each other.
Oh, because she doesn't want to see.
Newman.
She doesn't want to see Johnny. Because
And
Johnny,
who wants to
because
see
Johnny.
And that becomes the big fight. Ponyboy's like, hey, you need to go see Johnny because it'd be nice. And she's like, I can't. And he's like, what are you talking about? Bob was a jerk. And she's like, dude, he was still my boyfriend. He's like, your boyfriend was a jerk. He's
No one
like,
cares about
he's
your
now
boyfriend,
dead.
Cherry.
And they have like that big
Yeah,
argument
Cherry.
back and forth.
Karen. Rip Karen.
She thinks that Dally's a cutie, but at the same time, I think you might not know this, but sometimes girls like the bad boy. And so that's why she's here. Which is why she likes Bob. Bob was a bad boy. She likes Dally. Dally's a bad boy. It's why she could never date Ponyboy because Ponyboy's
A good boy,
yeah,
too.
not a
She
bad
is.
boy. So she's like, ooh,
bad boy now.
Ponyboy, did you go like stab somebody so I could like be attracted to you? No. Oh well.
Bad boy.
Never mind.
What? He's 2 years younger than her. I mean, she doesn't want to. She knows that he's bad news. Like Bob was a bad boy, but he was a rich bad boy. Dally's a bad boy and poor. Like,
She wants the money.
you can't do that. Darn. I think it's page
I know
131.
too much. This is annoying.
Me reading? Ouch, I'm right here.
No, I know too many things. I'm already on chapter 12. It's annoying because I know too many things.
Yeah. For those of you who have read ahead, here's where it gets tough because things sort of blend together on you.
Okay.
But
Like
this
the thing where I said earlier.
is this where we get to? It is. We're now getting up to the Rumble. So, real quick, what is the Rumble going to be?
Battle Royale.
If the Greasers win the Rumble, what's going to happen?
I have no clue.
Randy kill somebody.
The whole point of the Rumble is you have two sides to it. One side is Socia's, other side is and basically they're bringing everybody. So you bring all of your Soch friends, we bring all of our Greaser friends. They're going to go to that empty lot from the very beginning, and basically you're just going to fight each other until a team gives up. If the Greasers win, the deal is the Soches can never come into Greaser territory again. No more beating them up. You have to leave. If the Soches win, their deal is they get to keep hunting the Greasers like wild animals and beat them whenever they
That's
want.
not a very good deal.
Did the Greasers ever go into the Soch's territory?
Not really. I mean, they're rich. You don't go into rich people neighbor. And so because and so that's what the whole idea is. Greasers win. We get to Oh, in our area, socias win. They get to keep beating them up. Moles.
What you just said, go back. Did it talk about what you just said in the book?
I thought it did at one point. Did I not yet?
I don't know.
My problem is I've read this book so many times, it blends together.
Me too.
And I thought that if not, then they're getting ready to. If they didn't already talk about it, then it's like literally in the next couple pages.
Okay, well, I don't know, because I've read the past.
Talk about what?
I'm in the middle of talking.
Page 131, where they're talking about the rumble and the different sides.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably.
It was almost 6:30 when I got home. The rumble was set for 7, so I was late for supper as usual. I always come in late. I forget what time it is. Derry had cooked dinner, baked chicken, potatoes, corn, 2 chickens because all 3 of us eat like horses, especially Derry. But although I love baked chicken, I could hardly swallow any. I swallowed 5 aspirins though when Derry and soda weren't looking. I do that all the time because I can't sleep very well at night. Derry thinks I take just 1, but I usually take 4.
Overdose.
I figured 5 would keep me going through the rumble and maybe get rid of my headache. Then I hurried to take a shower and change clothes. Me and Soda and Derry always got spruced up before a rumble. I mean, you got to look nice when you're going to get beat up. That's the way things work. And besides, we wanted to show those socias we weren't trash, that we were just as good as they were. Hey, Soda, I called from the bathroom. When did you start shaving? When I was 15, he yelled back. When did Derry? When he was 13. Why? You figuring on growing a beard for the rumble? You're funny. We ought to send you into the Reader's Digest. I hear they pay a lot for funny things. Reader's Digest, this thing called a magazine. It was just like the internet, but on paper. And they used to pay people to send in like funny jokes and stories and stuff like that back in the day. Soda laughed, and I went right on playing poker with Steve in the living room. Derry had on a tight black T-shirt that showed every muscle on his chest and even the flat, hard muscles of his stomach. I'd hate to be the soch who takes a crack at him, I thought, as I pulled on a clean T-shirt and a fresh pair of jeans. I wished my T-shirt was tighter. I have a pretty good build for my size, but I'd lost a lot of weight in Windrorsville. It just didn't fit right. It was a chilly night, and T-shirts aren't the warmest clothes in the world. But nobody ever gets cold in a rumble, and besides, jackets interfere with your swinging ability. Soda and Steve and I put on some more hair oil than was necessary, but we wanted to show them we were greasers. Tonight, we could be proud of it. Greasers may not have much, but they have a rep. That and long hair. What kind of world is it where all I have to be proud of is a reputation for being a hood and greasy hair? I don't want to be a hood, but even if I don't steal things and mug people and get boozed up, I'm marked lousy. Why should I be proud of it? Why should I even pretend to be proud of it? Derry never went in for the long hair. He was short and clean all the time. I sat in the armchair in the living room, waiting for the rest of the outfit to show up. But of course, tonight the only one coming would be 2-Bit. Johnny and Dallas wouldn't show. Soda and Steve were playing cards and arguing as usual. Soda was keeping up a steady stream of wisecracks and clowning, and Steve had turned up the radio so loud that it almost broke my eardrums. Of course, everybody listens to it loud like that, but it wasn't just the best thing for a headache. Real quick, the next 2 things we're going to be talking about, just so you're aware, is the end of chapter 10, if you want to mark that real quick. That'll be Tuesday, which is end of chapter 10, end of chapter 10.
The end of the chapter.
160.
Page 160. So I'm talking about 160 on Tuesday, and then talking about the end of the book on Wednesday.
Oh, cool.
So just making sure.
I have a mark on Friday.
So page 180 next Wednesday. Page 160 I talk about on Tuesday.
Have a great day.
Take off.
Whoa.